Hi, I'm back to demonstrate the latest version of my utility program for transferring Inspection Xpert data via XML files to a database. I'm going to fire up the app. As we see it come up, it looks very similar to the original version with the addition of one button called Start Scan. Also, when I open the settings window, see that I've added one new setting for the folder to be scanned while it's in automatic scan mode. I've also added visual cues in this window now to signal the validity of the database file and path and the scan folder path. If I come here, let's close this, come here to my root directory on the C drive, I can see the folder I have set up for scanning. I'm going to temporarily change that name, add a 2 on the end. Go and look at my settings again. We see that the scan folder setting now is red, signaling that it's not a valid path. I come in and change this to 2. It immediately recognizes that it's now a valid path. I'm going to cancel that, go back in there, change it back to what I wanted originally. Have a look at my settings. Everything's black. It's good. Before we continue with the demonstration, I'm going to go back and point out that the scanned folder is currently empty. As you can see here on the left side of my screen, I've set up some XML files for the demonstration. This first one with the suffix -1 is a file directly published from an Inspection Xpert project. -2 is a duplicate file that has had the part number changed to match the file name. Both of those should be valid files. The file with -D in the file name is actually a duplicate of the -2 file, contains identical data inside the file. And -E is actually there to generate an error. If we pop it open, we can see that it's not a real XML file. The purpose of this app is to automatically detect the existence of XML files and read them and transfer the data to the database. The way it's supposed to work is when it detects an XML file in the folder that is being scanned, it tries to process it. If it's successful, it copies the file to a subfolder for successes. If it discovers that the data contains a duplicate part number and rev, it stops the processing and copies the file to a subfolder for duplicates. If it fails during the process for any other reason, it copies the file to a folder for failed transfers. All of these events are logged with date, time, file name, and result in an activity log in the scanned folder. Of course, if any of these subfolders or the activity log don't exist, they will be created at runtime. Let's go back to our app. As long as we have a valid database path and scan folder path, the app will allow us to go into automatic scan mode by clicking the Start Scan button. The message tells us that it's going to move the app to the tray and start scan mode. We can click OK, come down here, we see the app here, IX Utility. I'm going to right click. We've got a context menu which allows us to stop the scan, pops the window back open. We're back to where we were. I'm going to go back into scan mode, open up our directory, and take all of these files and copy them into the scanned folder. See, the activity log has been created, and within a few seconds we see 3 subfolders that have been created. if the program performed properly, it should have successfully processed the 1 and 2 files. It should have rejected D as a duplicate, and it should have failed on E. Pop open the activity log. We see 1 scanned, 2 scanned, D went to duplicates, and E failed. So the activity log looks good. Look at our folders. Scanned, there's our 1 and 2 files. Failed, there's our error generating file, E. And duplicates, there's our D file. Last thing, if it performed properly, it should have added those 2 projects to the database. So if we come here and look at our projects table, we see that there are indeed 2 new items added to that table. So it looked like it worked as it was supposed to. One last feature is file incrementing. I didn't want it to overwrite any files when it was copying files to a subfolder, so I've implemented a file name incrementing scheme in the program. This can be demonstrated if we take, for instance, the D file and drop it in the folder again. The app will pick it up and should have copied it into the duplicates folder. If we look, there it is. It copied it in, but it put a suffix on the file name so as not to overwrite the original. If we drop a copy in again, come back and have a look. It's added another suffix onto that one. And that's it.